I know nothing of mattresses. That's not something that interests me. We were just putting empty boxes on them and paying them to just run around Montreal in the summer. And people were starting taking picture of that, associating the bed within a box on a bicycle.
I mean, a mattress is a mattress. It's been there since a very long time, but you managed to create something innovative and fun also around it.
So we needed one, a very good product, two, a strong brand with a compelling narrative, and three, a ways to build enough trust rapidly so that we could scale and get market share before a giant starts doing it.
Would you launch Polysleep again knowing what you know now? Welcome back to a new episode of the Rectified podcast. Today, my guest is the founder of a direct-to-consumer brand who scaled up to $15 million during the pandemic. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with him and see where he is now. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on whichever platform you're tuning in from. Jeremiah Curvers, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Sandy.
So we didn't tell them which brand you founded. Tell me more about Polysleep and how did you scale it to $15 million during the pandemic? What happened then?
What happened then? Well, let's go back for people who might not know the brand at the early stages. I started Polysleep after actually being in MarTech for about 13 years. Not because I thought there was a gap in the market industry and all that. I knew absolutely nothing about mattresses, but I got bedridden for about 3 months due to a double herniated disc.
Whoa.
So a good friend of mine at that time was getting the equipment to be the producer of a well-known American brand that went public and got delisted, and we all know the story, not to mention them. But ultimately, he bought all that equipment and he said, based on your background and knowledge, why don't you start something? And I was like, yeah, sure. Absolutely not. I know nothing of mattresses. That's not something that interests me. And ultimately, that changed after my injury. I asked him, could we develop prototypes? I want to make the best mattress possible for my recovery, which at the time was the Polysleep mattress.
Yeah.
It's been now 10 years. And that became a success. We became one of the fastest Canadian growing company, reaching direct-to-consumer level of up to, like you said, 15 million during the pandemic. And it grew since.
Yes.
The reason I'm not disclosing numbers is because for the last 2 years now, we have been acquired by a large manufacturer. We're now vertically integrated. So we try to stay a little bit more private because we do produce, obviously, a lot of things for Polysleep. But surprisingly, we also produce for competitor brands that people might know. We are also producing for Costco. We are very active in the retail landscape and now scaling even in manufacturing. So the mining industry, hospitality, public contracts, etc. So that's where we are right now. Multiple digits of 7 numbers and very happy about our scale. And we're trying to diversify because it's been a market that boomed up until the pandemic and kind of flattened after that. So as a business owner, you need to figure out what is the next frontier, what is the next milestone.
Exactly.
And we decided to do that rather than going and integrate ourselves with a retailer like many other brands did.
Let's start with the scaling part during the pandemic and everything, and then we'll move and talk about what's happening now and the acquisition and all of that, so that people know maybe what this journey is about when you're transitioning from having your own company to going through an acquisition and everything through an exit. At the beginning, you decided to sell mattresses, which is a bulky product, not easy to ship, and you sold it direct to consumer. It's expensive. It's not a $10 item. How did you think about managing that? And one more thing, people want to try the mattress before. So tell me a little bit more about how you thought about it and the creative way you used to kind of push people to buy.
There's different way of approaching a business category. One that I used, and it's very popular in the financial, world. It's the cloning principles. So what you want to do is look at a new segment, In this case, it was still a blue ocean. Like you said, bed in a
Yes.
box, the term was not known.
Yes.
There were only a couple of brands, mostly in the United States and Asia, that were, and maybe one or two in Europe, that were getting traction. And what we asked ourselves, me and my first employee, was how can we look at what they're doing, keep what they do well, and improve upon that? So one of the big thing I, from my marketing background, worked hard on is associating the brand with color. So the purple and
Yeah.
white mattress that people would recognize, whether it's on Occupation Double, whether it's in a store or at a hotel, was something very important when I built the brand, to really own that purple color. So that was the first element, how to differentiate yourself from other brand and copycat. The second element was obviously cost per acquisition, because you have very little repeat business outside of accessories like pillows. So how do you create a very strong engagement with the brand where the notion of repeatability becomes referrals? So if your experience is really stellar,
Yeah.
how do I encourage you to talk to your mom, your friends about your experience and create that element of virality? So a couple of initiatives we did very early stages in Montreal, for example, contacting bike courier, the people who delivers.
Yeah.
And some of them had platform for larger items. And we were just putting empty boxes on them and paying them to just run around Montreal in the summer.
Yeah.
And people were starting taking picture of that, associating the bed within a box on a bicycle. So all these tactics usually helps, because very early stage, what you need to realize when you have a high cost item. So I'm not talking a $10 or $20 item,
exactly.
which is a bit easier to sell, is you need to scale the branding perception as fast as possible to build trust. Because like you said, the only way they could try the mattress at that time was at home with a 100-night trial.
Yeah.
But that was a big risk for us because we were able to absorb up to 8 to 10% of return, and then it would have hurt our cash flow and we would have been out within a year. So we needed one, a very good product, two, a strong brand with a compelling narrative, and three, a ways to build enough trust rapidly so that we could scale and get market share before a giant starts doing it. Fortunately for us, we were able to do so. And that's how we built. So we really focused our niche in Quebec and then scaled upon the rest of Canada. But I would say our footprint is really Quebec. This is where people knows us. This is where people love our brand. And that's, I would say, early stage, we focused on growing that.
Yeah.
Then after that, we started segmenting based on wallets and preferences, what would be a good, better, best option, typical scenario, associate technology and price point based on that.
Yeah.
And that's what I would recommend to any entrepreneur starting. Make sure you can look at an industry and improve upon that, really trying to fix a problem rather than looking at just the metrics themselves.
Yeah. My previous guest on the podcast talked about the same thing a little bit, like you don't reinvent the wheel, but you try to be more creative about how you present things a little bit. So that's, I mean, a mattress is a mattress. It's been there since a very long time, but you managed to create something innovative and fun also around it. So yeah. After that, the pandemic, boom. Everybody is buying things online. Your direct-to-consumer sales increased tremendously. Long story short, now you went through an acquisition. Tell me more about that.
So leading to the acquisition, I think just like any new entrepreneur, that was my first business. Took me a lot of time to really do mistakes, learn. You can read all the book in the world, listen to every podcast. It's just like cycling. You can educate yourself until you get on a bike and get a feel for it. It's not if you're going to fall, it's when you're going to fall. But knowing what's going to happen will allow you to stay cool and to really rectify faster. Acquisition, I was so not ready for it. I just thought it would forever increase and grow at the pace
Yeah.
it was increasing.
Did you think about selling when you started?
Not at all.
Not at all.
And that's one of the big mistake I think
Yeah.
many entrepreneur does is they don't set themselves for success knowing that, and every industry is very different.
Yeah.
Product, you have a little bit more leeway. You have a bit more time. Software, nowadays, you
Yeah.
got 6 months to 2 years to plan your acquisition or exits, or someone's just going to come up with something new, better,
So true.
with more funding, right? So product, from the day you start, try to fix a problem better than the current companies are doing, and put a date where potentially you want the company to outpace your personal skills. And there's two ways of doing it. You can then, if the company is profitable enough, put an operator that have tremendous experience at scaling a business from, let's say, 100 million to $1 billion, etc., and you can remain on the board. Or what many entrepreneurs does, because they don't necessarily have the money to sustain that growth, they'll sell or they'll get acquired. And deciding who you're going to sell to will allow you to do certain steps that are really necessary for you to have a proper and a good exit. I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah.
If you're the type of businessman that does everything and have a very hard time letting other people control parts of your business, it's going to be extremely hard for you to sell. Because the person who's going to buy you want to buy your business. He doesn't want to buy your name.
Exactly.
So building a team with very strong operator, like I have right now, whoever is in charge of my company of operation or customer excellence or sales or marketing, they don't need me. They're better than me, actually, vertically speaking, at what they're doing. And that's what becomes very appealing in a context of acquisition. In my case, it took me 2 years to reposition my business towards becoming a great technology incubator for a legacy manufacturer.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
How all our tech stack, our knowledge could be applied in the context of manufacturing to get more customer, to serve them better, to get more market share from other competitors. That took me a while because I was a pure direct-to-consumer player.
Yeah.
And my solution, my technology were not aligned with that. And on the other hand, other founders that I know who sold to large retail groups, their plan was, okay, how do I go from a core item business that sell mattresses and pillows to a lifestyle business that sell bed sheet, collar, bed frame, and now bath product, etc.
Yeah.
How do I scale from
I
that
kind
to
of
having
see
boutiques?
what you're
right?
talking about.
And it's funny, they all apply the same type of, and they have
Yes.
all been acquired by the same group, by the way. So these are fundamentally different. And I think any entrepreneur needs to ask himself that question. It's not if, it's how it's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? We all want a business that's going to outlive us,
Of course.
right?
Of course. Yeah.
So,
There are different scenarios. Some people build businesses a bit like the old school way, like they want to keep a legacy for their children and their grandchildren to take over. It's happening less and less. People are shifting their mentalities into let's exit and have wealth and then rebuild something else. And, like it's still for the coming generations, but it's not, hey, you come take over my business. It's more like I built this wealth, let's add on or whatever for their kids. So it's completely different. I remember more than 10 years ago, my younger sister, who's wiser probably than me, I was so attached to our family business and I didn't want to shut it down or leave it. And she's like, it's okay. At some point you have to leave, you cannot, this is not going to be your forever job. And she was right. I left eventually, but it's all the mindset shift that we will have as entrepreneurs. There's also a lot of people who just create something and they want to sell and make quick money and they don't think about what's happening next. Tell me, what do you think about that? Over the years working with product brands, I developed my own framework for scaling. I call it the 3R framework. It's my signature system and it's what I use with every single client I work with. And today I want to give you the diagnostic tool that sits at the heart of it. It's free. It takes about 10 minutes and it will show you exactly which of the 3 R's, revamp, reshape, or reach, is your biggest gap right now. The link is in the description. Go grab it and start working on the right thing.
So first, I have utmost respect for people who want to build a business, keep it for life, and give it to their children. It's so hard when you look at the speed at which the pace things evolve now. A lot of great businesses that our parents had, the business model can't even be adapted today,
exactly.
right? It might in a couple of years, right? With technology evolving and all. But today there's this gap where this business will not exist and will be reinvented in a couple of years. So that's one thing I want to say. If you start a business to make money and that's your core objective, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying you're going to have a very hard time finding the motivation necessary when you hit the lows to pursue.
Yes.
And what I realize is a lot of, I call them LinkedIn entrepreneurial or serial entrepreneur warrior. You look at their profile, they did a lot, but none of them exited a business with a buck in their pocket.
Yes.
And
true.
the sole reason is because you're on a roller coaster ride and you have an opportunity at the first low to get out of the coaster. If your motivation is money, you most likely will get out, right? So you need a greater motivation than that.
Yeah.
And as an operator, what I love is this challenge. You know, we've hit some pretty hard low where,
always,
you know, and it's excruciatingly hard. But what you got to focus is the mission, where you want to bring the business, what you want to accomplish. At some point, a great business will struggle and will need very strong operator to adapt the model to the reality of the market. But you can't do that by just focusing on money. You need to be obsessed about what's your mission, what's your moat. I think finding this is as important as how much money the business will make.
This is so true. We all go through very low phases, even during 1 year, sometimes during 1 month, you never know. This is the nature of, life as an entrepreneur. That's how it is. And if you're not really passionate or there's something that's motivating you to do it, you just won't be able to go on. Just go back and get a full-time job and, do your 9 to 5. This is so interesting. So now you exited your company and your brand is part of a bigger group. They're more focused on B2B, as you mentioned, but you also have the D2C part.
Absolutely. That remains the majority of our operation as of today. My goal is to diversify it. So a good diversified business can handle a punch or two, right?
Yes.
Companies right now who are fully focused on B2B exportation, they have a hard time. Tariffs, CUSMA is being threatened. So, diversification is a good form of protection for a business as long as every leg brings revenue. So that's what we're working really hard on. Because like I said, the business is part of a larger family now. And what I'm really focused on right now is building the strongest possible core team so that and I hope to continue, but it depends on the board. It depends on the people who acquired us to decide, the direction of it. And it's very important to accept that at some point, if you want your business to continue to grow at scale, you either will most likely acquire businesses or your business will be acquired.
100%. Do you have an idea what you want to do next?
I just love what I'm doing right now. So I'm not focused on that. Like I said, it takes so much energy already. I love what I do. I love receiving email from people saying we've changed their life because of their sleeping surface. So I'm really fully committed to that. And, we'll see. Hopefully it's not through another injury that I know what my next gig's going to be.
I noticed lately that you have the more luxurious mattresses, like higher. You divided them basically to more luxury and more basic. I don't know if these are the right terms, but the basic ones are sold D2C on the Polysleep website. and then the more luxurious ones are sold in stores. They're higher ticket, obviously. They're more expensive, and people need to see them and try them. And we went into the whole dilemma. How did you decide that you want to separate these two and put these here and those there?
It's a mix of data and listening to our customers.
Okay.
So when I talk to data, and every business owner should, I think, have the same approach. What we've realized is past $1,000 online, people become more reluctant at spending that amount because they can't test the product physically, right? So the past $1,000 threshold usually brings a lot of these specific questions in customer service, chat, FAQs and all, which is, where can I test the product?
Okay.
So that was the first part that said, okay, if we're past that threshold for various reasons, customer want to touch the product. Hence, retail, Airbnb, hotels, etc.
Yeah.
Our digital offering have very high quality components, but are curated for the vast majority of the population. Because we can't control who buys a mattress, their weight, we don't have a physical interaction with them. Do they have specific needs? Are they coming back from an injury? What we're trying to achieve is at different price point, have the best sleeping surface for the broadest majority of people. So 90% of the people buying a mattress online on polysleep.ca will get a better sleeping experience than they probably have today.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to specific needs, if someone want a really hard surface or wanted something very soft, this is where Polysleep Signature, which is available in store, offer more options. So it's not just necessarily the quality of the product, but it's what specific needs do you have, and are you willing to invest a bit more to have that retail experience, to have an expert talking to you about our product, to have white glove delivery, etc. So that's where the premium comes from. It's really being able to go deeper into what you think you need and having an expert guiding you, rather than just, saying one is more affordable than the other. There's a reason for it. So data and a mix of customer feedback allowed us to decide which model are going to go on the floor and which are going to remain online available for people.
Okay. So basically, it's not just the price point and the quality, but also who it's adapted for.
Exactly.
The ones online are more suitable for the majority of people.
Because you want to control returns. Right? So you want to make sure. And our returns rate are quite impressive. They're on average below 4% now.
How do you return a mattress?
So we do take care of it. We do take care of it. So throughout the first 100 nights, some people use now 200, 300, whatever. But 100 nights is plenty for you to try a product. So we want you to keep it for about 45 nights to see if your body adapts. Let's say it's not a fit. We do two things. We either work with a local charity to reduce carbon footprint. So what we do is we work with a local charity who's going to take the mattress and do two things. Sell it to support a nonprofit or directly give it to someone who's in need.
That's nice.
It's nice, and it's our way of contributing a bit to, the less fortunate. I think one of the reason in my other podcast, I talked with a lot of people involved with, people who are homeless, people who have specific needs. And it's so hard when you don't sleep well to get out of a tough situation.
Of course.
So that's one way for us to contribute to that. And on the corporate side, it doesn't hurt our margin as much as bringing it back. Because from a last mile standpoint, it costs a lot to bring a single unit to Montreal, let's say if it's in Toronto or Vancouver or even Northern Territory or Sherbrooke. So what we do is we'd rather work with local charity and we also salvage the customer experience. Because they're like, that product specifically was not a fit. But God, I love the company for what they did after with the product. And that's, I think, one of the reasons we also have been successful.
How often does the same person return something but get like another one of the mattresses, because you have multiple types?
We have multiple mattresses. If someone returns it online, we really tell him, go to store. Because like I said, all our mattresses, the 3 mattresses we sell online, the Sierra, the Origin, the Luna.
Yeah.
They're, in terms of firmness and comfort, they're very similar one to another. And they usually curates to the vast majority of the people. So if you don't find that comfortable,
Yeah.
most likely any online brand will suit your needs. You better go to a store. It's really rare though.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about marketing. Since you're a marketer, I'm a marketer.
Yeah.
Let's do this a little bit. With Polysleep, now it's B2B. B2B is a whole other...
Ball game, yeah.
It's another game, but for the direct to consumer, when you're selling under the Polysleep brand, what are the different things that you're doing? Like I noticed you were on, you were sponsoring, I believe, Occupation Double, which is a Quebec series. If somebody's not from here, they will not know what it is. It's a TV show, and what else are you doing?
I'll split that in two categories. From a marketing standpoint, and the day-to-day operation now are managed by by my marketing director, so he'll know a lot more about that. But at my level, what I do care about is two specific things. I touch upon it a little bit, and I'll give concrete example. How established your brand is, so the branding component, and that compounds over time. That's SEO efforts, sponsoring TV show, sponsoring a team like the Rampart of Quebec. We did that for 3 years. If you go to Picnic Electronic in Montreal this summer, you're going to see the couch on the VIP section. We made them. All these branding efforts, billboards, TV, radio, contest, all of these will help your brand over time to get recognition.
Yes.
Recognition combined with a good product and a good company build trust. That trust is an exponential number to your ROAS.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, and I'm going to give you that real example. Our brand is not as known, let's say, in BC.
Yeah.
Ontario, we're doing better than BC, but let's say BC. Same dollar invested in our paid tactics, which includes a very complex funnel that goes from affiliation marketing, paid media, complex remarketing, geo-targeted, email, chatbot.
All of it.
A lot of it, right?
Yes.
And the reason is because our average ticket item is above $700.
Yeah.
So our cost per acquisition is quite high. So we do all that. My return on ad spend, my how much dollar I'll get back from a dollar invested in Quebec is about 6 times higher than in BC.
Wow.
And that is solely because my brand is known.
Yes.
So these are the two components that I think any business needs to work on, especially when they sell higher ticket product item, is yes, have a unique and amazing product, but make sure your brand resonate with something that attract the customer time and time and time again. Imagine, we have very little repeat business. It takes us 7 years on average for someone to change their mattress. And we see good result finally now, by the way. But let's say on pillows, we see people buying over and over again. But marketing efficiency ratio is one metric I look a lot at, which is I just compound everything marketing related, including salaries.
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I look at the contribution it does on the margin overall.
Okay.
Okay. So what is our net sales on Shopify, let's say, per province, per SKU, right?
Okay.
And I will have different segments or demographic based on the recognition of the brand. Okay. And
you're seeing the difference.
Oh, massive difference.
Yeah.
Massive difference. So what I'm looking at, if I do a trailing 12-month calculation, meaning that I take the last 12 months plus one and I roll that over, is an either upward or stable trend.
Okay.
That means there hasn't been for 2, 3, 4 months in a row a decline in our efficiency. Okay? So that's one element I look at. The second one is everything related to cost per acquisition, ROAS, return on investment. So I tend to look at it at my level at an aggregated view, where I'm going to compare, awareness strategies versus pure paid performance strategy. Some people will still use top, mid, bottom funnel strategies to segment that. And what I look at is really how the numbers looks like. Because if my marketing efficiency ratios are going down,
Yeah.
but my paid performance media and all is stable, there's an outlier
There's
somewhere
something-
else,
yeah,
right? There's something
yeah,
else.
Yeah.
It might be customer service that have an issue. It might be operations that have an issue. Because, I mean, a lot of people blame marketing for a lot of things, but
Yeah.
it will not solve the state of the box the customer receive if the
Exactly.
Uber, the UPS or
Yes.
the drivers completely destroy the box. That's going to be a poor experience,
It's
right?
never one part of the equation. There's a lot
Exactly.
of things that you need need to
Exactly.
be aligned
Yeah.
to have the perfect experience.
And one cautionary tale is attribution platforms. There's a lot of them out there. Some of them tells you a very different story than what you
True.
might get from Google Analytics.
True.
None of the platform I
What do
tried.
you tried? Why do you trust?
I don't want.
you
Like
don't
I
want a
said,
name.
I don't trust any of them
Yeah.
because they don't tell you the real story. What you should trust is your bank account.
That's a
Right?
good one. Yeah.
What goes out,
Yes.
what comes in.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying MER.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, of course, optimization are done at a platform level, right?
course.
And there's going to be cross-pollination, call it cannibalization between platform. Google will say your ROAS is 12, and then Facebook it's 12. And if you count
Yeah.
on all of it, you made 10 times the revenue you really
Which
made,
is not,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Which is never the case.
But oftentimes I see something on, let's say, TikTok or Instagram, and then I see it again on Pinterest, and then I go whatever, and then I see it in store, and then I buy it. So you don't know really which one truly gave you the sale. I mean, if we just think about it from a behavior point of view.
Yeah. So the old school marketer would say, oh, you have a frequency cap that needs to hit at least 7 or 12. What I think by generation, it increased constantly.
Yeah.
And there's just so much opportunity to get impressions, right?
Exactly.
It's just very hard nowadays, especially amongst younger demographic, to have an impression that has value, right?
Yeah.
So from a performance standpoint, repeating that, let's say you're 10, 20, 30% off, or you have $50 off this, you will require a lot more repetition than before.
Yeah.
Where you do it has to be somehow diversified just for the eye not to completely become blind of it. If your only platform is TikTok, well, I don't think you might have a certain level of success, but everybody use multiple platforms. Everybody use different path. The idea is to be as present as possible.
If they can, obviously.
If your mixed media allows you
Yeah,
to, right?
yeah.
But then on the other hand, like I said, the sales will compound organically even if your brand have recognition.
That's something that most newer brands miss, and that's
Just, I want to reinvent the wheel. Take your phone, go on social media,
Yes.
talk about your story, tell us why your product is better than the other, and do that 3 times a day.
yes.
Bring us at the back store of your business. Tell us how it's made, where it's made, why it's made, who it's made for. That's what you should do day in, day out. When you see an outlier, if you have a little bit of budget, scale it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
People love stories. They don't love ads. Nobody turned on the TV back in the days to watch ads. Right?
No.
Nobody listened to a podcast.
Yeah.
There's a reason why models like Spotify, YouTube, and all offer a premium experience. And that premium experience, what does it do?
We pay for it, actually.
It killed the ads, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, your ads is the last resort for your brand to get known. Everything else you can do, you should do it first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I see many founders or people I work with, they're so focused on ROAS. Like that's the only, I don't know, acronym that they know. And my ROAS and my ROAS.
Yeah.
Yes, but what are you doing? Like you talked about, what are the other parts of this equation? And you saw that real life activations are affecting this famous ROAS that people are chasing. So I believe having a hybrid strategy can be truly beneficial, like real life things coupled with whatever paid ads, organic social media content, whatever it is that they want to do. But they have to listen.
Are you able to suscitate or trigger an emotion? How do you connect with your audience?
Exactly.
That's the key there. Like I said, that's the exponent. The ROAS is very important, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's one metrics among
Yeah.
so many that you should look at.
How about email? How much it converts, or is it a good tool for you?
We have a quite sophisticated email strategy where we do have. So basically, how we do work with email is obviously there's performance categories where when we have a sale, we let people know. But then the educational component, we segmented it in what we call life moments. We have about 18 of them and different personas. The content of each varies based on, are you the segment what we call a super mom, which you have 2 kids, you have a job, you start a business on a side hustle, you go to the gym on top of that. That category will not appeal the same way to, let's say, a middle-aged super Quebecers who's patriotic.
Yeah.
And we have a different type of content for that. So what we call life moment are basically milestone in someone's life that will often trigger large purchases. Mattress is one of them.
Yeah.
A newborn, a divorce, a marriage, first apartment,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So these are triggers we use in sequence of email, because ultimately email is one of the oldest digital way to reach
Yeah.
people. And I like where it's going back to.
It still works.
Less crowded,
Yes.
better content,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
And especially now where AI just vomit content, I tell people AI is an amazing tool, but please, if you can make something a one-pager, don't make it 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Agree.
Email had the same aha
Agree.
moment.
Yeah.
Bring
Yeah.
value to your customer. It's a great segment. Yeah.
I love how much you segmented. Like, you're very, very, very specific with your audiences. It's not just like one email that goes to everybody.
I think in our digital world right now, you need to be a niche
Yeah.
to perform. So
100%.
if you're a company that touches so many people, you got to figure out specific niches within your company and have these niches worked as different marketing system
Yeah.
for each individual. We're not going to push the baby mattress to, like I said, someone who's pre-retirement. It's just a waste
So
of money.
true, yeah.
And it's a waste of their time.
Maybe their grandparents. You never know.
You know what? Maybe. But ultimately, how I see marketing in general,
Yeah.
paid marketing in particular, is you're stealing time from a consumer. You're literally stealing time. You pay a platform to steal time from a consumer. You got to ask yourself, what do I bring in return? And if you can't answer that question, you probably don't have the right content.
I love this. We'll have to clip this part. Do you have a segment for entrepreneurs? Because we all need to sleep to perform better.
Yes.
You should have that.
Yes. Actually, that's where my Up at Night podcast comes in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more question before we do like a rapid fire. If a product founder is watching this right now, sitting on a great product but stuck on how to get people to trust it enough to buy,
Yeah.
what's the one move you tell them to do this week?
So you're going to call everyone who's somehow successful in your Rolodex, right? You're going to take your phone. I'm saying Rolodex because there's a great app called Dex, actually.
Okay.
Contact everybody you know who's remotely close to entrepreneurs, people who have money, private equity, VC, whoever worked in a startup world. Go have a coffee with them, virtual or in person, ideally in person, and ask them about this question. Hear everyone out, don't listen to anybody. But that's going to bring you closer to your answer.
What does that mean?
What I mean by that is the sum of the influence you have from people you trust around you will give you two things. The certitude that you're doing the right thing, and then the resilience to pursue. Or unfortunately, sometimes what you need is a good reality check,
Yeah.
right? And that reality check will come in usually two different flavor. Do you have the money to pursue or you don't? Does it worth to go after that money to pursue, right? because that's the end of the line. The only thing we do as founders and CEO and entrepreneur and operator is not running out of money.
Yeah.
Scale and don't run out of money. If you're able to do that, you could succeed. The second part is seeking validation that your product actually fit a category. And you go from there. You know, if you have something amazing, have your friends, have people around you testing it and see what's their reaction. Are they just encouraging you, or are they generally talking about your product to their friends and family? If nobody contacts you, that's probably because it's not that necessary or interesting, right?
Yeah.
If you have an amazing pitch deck and go see a VC, an incubator, a fund, people who have money, and they're not willing to invest, it's because you either don't have the right product or you were not able to sell on the vision. And that costs absolutely nothing.
True. But they have to be willing to do it.
Well,
It's a lot of effort, but
you know what? At least you're going to learn something fast from it.
yeah.
And if it's the wrong product, well, the next one might be the one. Or if the funding were not there, well, someone who believes in you might refer you to someone who's able to help you on that aspect.
100%.
On the funding part, this is why I tell people, be very, very careful. Do not seek money to seek money. Because you're going to lose control over your baby and your company.
Yeah.
The slower you do that, the better it is. So treat every dollar as your last one.
It's interesting. I was reading a book by Emma Grede. It's called Start With Yourself. And she was talking about this, like if you're seeking funding, even if you have like a bad feeling about a person, just don't go for it, because it's a money relationship and it's gonna basically ruin your life if you choose the wrong people. And like you said, don't rush. So it's interesting that I was just reading it and you mentioned the same thing. Let's do a rapid fire before we wrap this up. Nothing scary, don't worry. Yes or no, basically. Would you launch Polysleep again knowing what you know now?
No.
Why?
But it was rapid fire.
Yeah, I'm like
I
why?
said, I never would have imagined that I would enter such a crowded category at the time.
Okay.
I thought we would be like 10, 20. Up to the pandemic, we got into the 150s. Copycats, brand from Asia trying to penetrate the market. Marketplaces are flooded with some of these companies that have very poor quality product, to a point where people were associating at some point, bed in a box, cheap, right? Our products are manufactured in Montreal, high quality products, delivered in a box, because we save 6 times the volumetric mass, right?
Of course.
It's better for the environment,
For
it's cheaper.
shipment.
But that industry just exploded and made it really hard.
I get it. All right. Is D2C dead?
No.
No, I don't think so either. If your product is good enough, you don't need branding.
Well, the brand will follow. Look at Tesla. Good product. The branding will follow. The branding is your moat. The branding is the sum of all conversation that happens about you.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous to think you control your brand. No, you create a logo, you create something associated with your philosophy, and then the market follows or not based on what you deliver.
Yeah.
You could, I'm going to say it this way. If you create, let's say, a perfume brand, okay, and you say it's the most prestigious perfume in the world and the bottle is expensive and all that, but everybody says that smells like a Dollarama perfume, and that's what circulates on Reddit, and what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to sell your perfume $10.
Yeah.
Because you don't control that part.
But it all has to align. It's not just the quality of your product. It's the pricing. It's the bottle. It's, the packaging, everything you're doing around your brand. Like Nespresso, for example, it shows as it's luxury, but people who know coffee, they know that there are things that are far more luxurious about coffee.
Now, the difference between an espresso...
how they put it in the market...
Yeah. And how they put it in the market is one thing. Keurig did the same. But the perception of Nespresso is higher end than Keurig, right?
Yeah.
And that comes down to one thing you do not control. Your brand is the sum of all conversation
Yeah.
that happens about you.
Yeah. They also created luxurious experiences around it. They associated it with George Clooney, who is, more like he has a more luxurious brand image. And so it's the sum of everything you're doing, basically, to talk about your brand. All right. Yes or no again? Influencer marketing is a waste of money for product brands.
No.
No. Okay.
No. Don't overpay for it, though.
Yeah. Well, prices have increased a lot, but depends on who you choose.
Go the affiliation route.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. That's it.
Okay, makes sense. Last question. Paid ads are the fastest way to build a product brand.
It's the fastest way to validate if your brand will be sustainable in time or not.
What? Explain more.
I'm not going to mention them because it's a bit of a sad story, but like I mentioned, the biggest brand of all time that everybody knows in a bed-in-a-box industry would have been better for the first 5 years to give you a mattress and $200.
Okay.
So you get a mattress for free and $200, then how much it cost them to acquire a customer.
Wow.
They made it public,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the definition of what you're saying. They still ultimately failed, got booted out of the market, bought back by a private equity who unfortunately didn't make it through and now has been bought by a private company.
Yeah.
Right? They're still there. The brand's still there
they're still
because
there.
they put so much money behind it. But ultimately, the system itself proved it wrong. Paid alone was not enough.
Paid alone is not enough.
Paid alone is not enough. Yeah. It's
All
one
right.
component amongst many other.
Yeah. Jeremiah, thank you so much for this conversation. I feel we can talk for more hours, but we have to unfortunately put this under 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm so happy that we were able to do this podcast finally. And to all the listeners, I'll be back next week with a new episode.